What it's like to own an old cop car. If you've spent any time in America, you know the fear associated with seeing one of these authoritative land yachts floating down the road. That's because the Crown Vic is probably the most commonly recognized police vehicle in the US. You might also know that once these squad cars hit retirement, they get publicly auctioned off at liquidation prices, finding uses anything from cabs to daily drivers to dependable workhorses. So why did I buy a police interceptor? I needed something cheap, reliable, and relatively easy to work on. I bought the car for just $900, and for my money, I got a 4.6-liter V8, a 4-speed automatic transmission, and a limited slip Ford 8.8 rear end with around 235 horsepower and 275 foot-pounds of torque. It wasn't particularly fast, but who can argue with a rear-wheel drive V8 car for under $1,000? What's it like to drive? The Crown Victoria is one of the last body-on-frame American sedans to be produced, which makes it incredibly heavy, and the body roll means it corners like a boat. The motor is torquey, fun, and responsive up to about 2,000 RPM, while the transmission has to be one of the slowest shifting mechanisms on the face of the earth. The P71 Interceptor, while not being necessarily fast, is definitely no slouch though. And as you can see here, yeah, it drifts. Cue the montage. Do people think you're a cop? The biggest hurdle of P71 ownership is not learning to drive with the behemoth of a car, but rather learning to live with the fact that everyone thinks you might be a cop. So if you hate people hitting their brakes in front of you, the Vic is not for you. If you rage at people going 5 under the speed limit around you, the Vic is not for you. And if you can't take the dirty glances when people realize you're not a cop, yep, the Vic is not for you. On the plus side, it's rare you'll get cut off or tailgated in the car due to its intimidating size, and it's not hard to feel somewhat like a badass when you're driving 2 tons of steel with a giant push bar out front. How's the interior? One thing to understand about this vehicle is that it's a fleet car. This means the extras could best be described as minimal. For creature comforts in the squad car, there are heater controls, a radio, and not much else. The one thing that this car does amazingly well, however, is hold cups. Mine had not 2, not 4, but an astonishing 6 cup holders, which doesn't make much sense considering the car only seats 5, but features are features. And if you're looking for trunk space, look no further. The Vic's trunk could accommodate plenty of luggage, a small family, and my college debt. And my emotional issues. And Alex's biceps. You could probably live in it. Seriously, it's like a small truck bed. Taking on ownership of one of these ex-chariots of justice has its ups and downs. But in the end, you're getting a rear-wheel drive V8 with decent potential for power and a whole lot of presence. Overall, the P71 Interceptor is a tank with character. So if you've been on the fence until now, I say go for it.
So what Sin City have done is they've created one magnificent car. And this is it, the BMW X2. It looks amazing to my eyes. I know some of you guys like your supercars and stuff, but for me, this is my supercar.